All right, guys. So we're gonna get started on our next topic. Our next topic is make your money work for you. What you need to know about investing, and it's with Harvard business alumni Martin Curiel, and he also has his kids with him, Francisco and Isabella, and they're all investors. So they're gonna give you guys some good tips. If you guys could give them a round of applause.
Thank you. You sit. All right, how's everyone doing? All right, so let's see if we can make this work. Before I get started, so I'm not going to do a lot of the talking here. It's going to be my kids. So this is a picture of that was taken when I was about 8 years old. I'm the one with the good hair. And this was in Oregon when I was picking cherries. So from the age of 5 to the age of 19, I was a migrant farm worker. So who's here from Jalisco? Anybody? What part of Jalisco?
Guadalajara.
Guadalajara? Mero Guadalajara?
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Jose?
From a pueblo named San Andres.
San Andres. Okay, I've never heard of that. An hour from Guadalajara. And somebody else said? Which?
It's like close to the ocean, like near like Mendaki, like those beaches.
Barra Navidad?
Yeah, like right there.
All right. So I'm from a small town called Atenguillo. And it's, we used to go to the beach, to Melake, when I was young. And I don't know where San Andres is, but we used to drive from Atenguillo all the way to a place called Live Oak, which is near Yuba City. And then we would start our route there, thinning peaches, and then we would go to Oregon, Washington State, come back around, pick cherries and some apples a little bit, and then come back around to Live Oak, Yuba City area, where we would pick peaches, which is hell on earth, and plums, almonds, walnuts, and then we'd start school, and then like in between school, we would go to Corning to pick olives, and then come back around, and sometime in November, December, we would go back to Atenguillo, and we would make the 5-day trip in a truck all the way to Atenguillo. So that was my life for probably 16 years, until I was in high school. Then I started coming back to staying here. So, my fondest memories, people say being a farm worker is very difficult, and physically it is. But I think, from the perspective of being with your family all the time, it was an amazing experience, right? Now kids that I know pay thousands of dollars to go to camp, right? We got to go to camp for free. We would stay in these cabins, for 30 days and then work the crop and then go to the next place. And it was great. It was a great experience, and it's taught me a lot. I think that when I stayed in the U.S., graduated high school, I met a few people that motivated me to go to college. And at the time, Jose thinks differently here. At the time, the only path that I saw out of the fields and to a better economic life was to go to college. And so someone convinced me, and I got into Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and I studied engineering. I had no idea what an engineer did. Somebody said, you work outside? Oh, I got experience, right? And so then I did that for 4 years in college, and then I got hired to work as a petroleum engineer for a company called Chevron in Texaco at the time. And I did that for 4 years. I did engineering. It was fun. It was good, but I wasn't very passionate about that. And over time, I learned about the world of money and investing and finance. And so I decided to apply to Harvard Business School to get a master's in business. And in 2002, I was accepted, and I went there for 2 years and then came back to California. Got into the world of business, which is much more what my passion is. In 2006-07, I met my beautiful wife, Lulu, who is from Venezuela and also went to Harvard Business School. And when she got out of business school in 2010, we decided to move to San Francisco Bay Area in Mountain View. She got a job at Apple, which are companies that you heard of. And I was working for an investment firm, and we had these 2 beautiful kids. Wait, where are they? Oh, sorry. No. But we're very happy and that we live in Silicon Valley. I think that when Francisco, my first son, my only son, was about 1 year old, I was working for an investment firm in San Francisco, and so I would go to the firm to work, and then it would take me 3 hours. So I would leave when he was asleep, and I would come back when he was asleep. And on the weekends, he's like, "Who the hell are you?" Because he didn't recognize me because I was never around. So in 2013, when Isabella was about to be born, I decided to start my own company, my own investment firm. So my own investment firm where I could work from home, I could work virtually. And in 2013, it wasn't like COVID, nobody was working from home. But I said, if I could work a job where it can be done anywhere in the world remotely with just a computer, then I could spend more time with my kids. Because it all goes back to me spending time with my family. I realize that my kids are not going to be farm workers with me because I don't want to go back and do that, and won't spend as much time with me. But I do have a lot of value for my family and spending time with them. So I gave up my job and I started my company, and it has worked out well. I work from my office in Mountain View. I work from Cancun. I work from Atenguillo. I work from Guadalajara. I work from Spain. I work from anywhere. I work a lot. I worked this morning. I got up in the Spring Hill Suites in Napa Valley. I was working. So anywhere I go, I can work. And that's been a blessing to be able to do things like this, like we're doing today. So today we're going to talk about a lot of things. My kids are going to present. But I want you to remember a few things about the world of investing. Number one, you need to start early, if possible. If you can, let's start today. Let's do it today. You need to start simple. There's a lot of the world of money, the world of finance is confusing. You watch CNBC, you're like, what the heck are they talking about? You don't have to have a lot of complexity to make money and to be an investor. And Isabella will talk about that. And then I went to Cal Poly, and one of their mottos is learn by doing. And a lot of times, and maybe this is what you say, I don't want to keep picking on you. When you go to high school or you go to school, you learn a bunch of stuff. Probably 90% of it you'll never use, right? You'll never use it. You learn biology, the cells. I mean, okay, it's good stuff to know, but you'll never actually apply it. In the world of money and investing, this is how you do things, is you learn something, but you can actually apply it. And the best way to actually get the knowledge is like welding, is to actually do the work. And then be consistent, right? I think, how many of you guys go to the gym, work out? Anybody? All right. So, you go to the gym, right? And you have all these, your buddies tell you all these workouts, and you can do this, you can do that. What really matters, I'm very old, much older than you guys. What really matters is you just show up consistently. Doesn't matter what you do. 90% of it is if you can just show up every day. And so think about investing, same thing, right? You'll have tons of ideas, especially the boys will get all kinds of crazy, let's invest in this, let's invest in that. But really at the end of the day, the people that make a lot of money, the people that I advise, have just been consistently investing. Meaning like every month they put money away, every year, and they do it no matter what. So I want you to take these 4 things and put them to heart. So Francisco is going to be talking about the fundamentals, like the basics of investing. And then Isabella is going to talk about what she invested. So I have a neighbor who forces her kids to do piano, no matter, yells at them, dale, más. Okay, everybody has their thing. So our thing in our house, because we're Harvard Business School grads, is that they have to learn investing. So they've been investing since they were 8 years old, and they have been learning about this stuff since they were 8 years old. And, one person likes it more than the others, but they're gonna do it, right? That's this is their piano. So I hope you give them the attention. We're gonna try to finish this in about 12:30. And then I really wanna hear questions and really figure out what you're interested in, and we can try to answer them. But the idea is hopefully you can start now, today. All right, Francisco, let's start with you. Let me pull up the presentation.
Hi there, everybody. My name is Francisco Criel, and I'm here to talk to you about fundamentals of investing. So to start with, why invest? The challenge is that money not invested is actually losing its value because inflation averages about 2 to 3% annually, meaning your purchasing power decreases year after year if you're not investing your money or it isn't growing. Simply saving is not enough for a long-term financial security. Investing is how you build and grow wealth beyond your earning capacity. Like I started investing when I was 8 and I've made a lot of money from where I started of because it's been in the market longer. Some common goals is to beat inflation, fund future needs, and build a passive income stream. This is the cash flow quadrant. This was made by Robert Kiyosaki. I read one of his books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and this is where I got it from. The first quadrant is an employee. How many people here have jobs? So it's pretty self-explanatory what an employee is. It's somebody where you trade your time for money and in return you receive a paycheck. Next is the self-employed. You own your own job, but you're limited to what you can do. Like a plumber, he can't work 24/7. He's limited to his energy and his time. Next is the investor. This is where money works for you and without your involvement, so you don't have to be there and constantly watching it. Finally, it's the business owner. This is creating systems that generate passive income without your direct time and involvement, and it's just a whole bunch of income streams without you being there entirely. The key to financial freedom is moving from the top side, employee or self-employed, to the bottom of the quadrant, which is investor or business owner. This is a quote from Albert Einstein. Compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. Compound interest means earning returns not just on your initial investment, but the money you've already made. This pretty much means that the money grows on itself. An example, if I invested $10,000 at an 8% annual return, the average investment return for the stock market, after 9 years, I'll have $20,000. And after 18 years, I'll have $40,000. After 27, I'll have $80,000. And by 36 years, I'll have $160,000. As you can see, the money grows faster over time. All right, this is a rule that my dad taught me when I was younger, and I still use it. This is the rule of 72. It's pretty much a mental shortcut to know like how long it will take you to double your money. It's pretty much 72 divided by the annual return that you're getting on your investments is the amount of time you need to double your money. If I'm like a conservative investor and like I want to play it safe, I'll get 4% every year, and 72 divided by 4, it will take me 18 years to double my money. And here are some more examples if you want to know more. So these are my investments and so far in 2025. This is an app I use, Robinhood. I started investing when I was probably 8 years old, but I didn't have this app at that time. This is what I have so far. So in 3 months, I have around 16%. This is pretty good because the last quarter has been good because of everything that's going on in the world. But in a year, that's year to date. In a year, the annual return is about 8%, and I'm on track to do that this year, so that's pretty cool. I'm invested in oil, Tesla, the S&P 500, which my sister's going to talk about, and EA.
Why do you invest in those?
I'm invested in those because Tesla, because when Trump was elected, Elon Musk was part of that. So I thought, And then oil, I've had it for a long time. It's been safe, and I like it. And then EA, I forgot to sell that a long time ago. So it's just there. These are the investment types. First of all, there are stocks. It's when you trade your money for a part of the company that you own, and in return you get dividends. But most of the time, the way how you earn your money is that your stock increases in value and you sell it to somebody else. Then there are bonds. These are pretty much loans to companies or governments or corporations. And in return, they give you interest. It's typically lower than stocks, like the return, but it's still a pretty safe option. Then there's real estate. My mom and dad recently bought a property in Margarita. So it's pretty much a property that generates you income over time, and it appreciates in value. It's like an asset that's tangible, pretty much. And finally, there are funds. These are professionally managed collections of investments. It's pretty much a basket of stocks that a professional picks out for you, and you can buy all of them with just a click of a button. Risks and reward. You have to understand your risk tolerance. As you can see on the graph, your risks with cash are really low, but you also get a small reward. Like, it's not really an investment, really. And then there's bonds, there's low risk, low reward, and then there are funds and real estate, and then what I do is single stocks. You can lose more than you can gain because you can lose all your money, but it's a fun way to invest for me because I like gambling. So you have to understand your risk tolerance, so your age and time horizon, your financial goals and needs, like if I want to be a millionaire, I'm not going to play it safe. And then emotional response to how the market fluctuates. Like if it goes up a lot, if it goes down a lot, do you panic? And finally, your overall financial situation right now. This is the value of starting early is probably one of the best things you can do. It's time is your greatest asset. And here I've made a little example for you guys. We'll call the first person Early Emily. She invests $5,000 from the ages of 25 to 35 every year. In total, she invested about $50,000, and by the time she is 68 or 65, she has $787,000. Late Larry invests $5,000 from ages 35 to 65. He invested triple the amount that Emily did, but he ended up with less money at 65 with only $611,000. The best strategy is to start now. My dad taught me this early, so this is why I've been investing for a long time, but I think you guys can incorporate it too. All right, here are some common mistakes to avoid. I am guilty of almost every single one of these, so here it goes. Trying to time the market. It's almost impossible to consistently predict the market and when it's going to go up and when it's going to go down. So the best thing to do is just spend time in the market. Time in the market is better than timing the market. The second mistake is following the crowd. What most people tend to do is when our investments go up, we want to buy more because we're making money. And when our investment goes down, we want to sell because we're losing our money. But in reality, when it goes up, there's more potential that it comes down. And when it goes down, there's more potential that it goes up. So you have to decide for yourself what you're going to do and not following everybody else. And the last one is investing without a plan. If you just throw your money at something, most likely it won't grow. You need to understand what your goal is and what you're trying to achieve. All right, getting started today. Start today, not tomorrow. Don't wait for the perfect time or the perfect opportunity to walk to you. Just purchase something, whether it's $5, $10. Start your investing portfolio today. Learn by doing. You'll learn more about investing in your first month in the market than reading books for like 10 years straight. Except you won't know everything. No investor in the world knows everything. But you can take this opportunity to learn as much as you can. And preferably start now, start small. I did this when I was 8. I started with my dad's money so I could lose it all. But just whatever amount you can have or you can afford to lose, be comfortable with it. And don't start big because you probably will lose money at the start, and you can always increase your investments later. Hi.
Questions and answers for Panchito.
Yeah.
You said you've been investing since you're 8. How old are you now?
I am 14. So, yeah.
What does your portfolio look like? Like, where's most of your investments?
Most of my investments right now are in the S&P. It's like in like one of the funds I talked about, because I don't really want to focus on that right now because, you know, high school starting, and I don't want my mom to yell at me with grades. So, yeah, that's the S&P right now. I have, actually, can you go to my past holdings?
How do I do that?
Like when I was younger, I would go crazy. There's a specific one, TECS. It's 3 times against technology. So it's timing the market on the extreme, pretty much. Like if technology goes up, this goes down. So it's almost like a day trader that I used to have. So.
And what other individual positions did you have? Like crazy ones?
Crazy ones?
AMC?
Oh, AMC, yeah. It was like, are you guys aware of Pump and Dump? Yeah. It's like when somebody pumps up the stock and sells at the last second. That's what happened to AMC, and I was invested in it, and it went crazy. So I made like 1,000% that day, I think.
So
Okay. All right. Thank you, Francisco.
Thanks.
I have one more question.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
you said you're invested in Tesla. From what I know, nobody wants anything to do with Tesla.
Yeah,
They're
so
selling
that-
their cars. So why do you choose to invest in Tesla?
I mean, like, because everything's going down right now, I think it's going to die off eventually, and then Tesla will gain back its shares. So I'm hoping that happens. Yeah.
And we have 2 Teslas.
Yeah, we have to.
They're the greatest cars.
Oh, and they offer good dividends, too.
Okay. And then we can ask more questions as we go. So this is, as you can see, he's very excited about investing. So I want to show the other side of things. Go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name's Isabella, and I'm going to be showing you my first and only investment, the S&P 500. Has anyone heard of the S&P 500? Wonderful.
Okay.
This is the order we're going to be talking about stuff. First of all, I'm going to tell you about me. What do I do? What sports do I play? What I like? What I don't like? And then I'm going to tell you what is the S&P 500. Then, why do you invest in the S&P 500? How to invest in the S&P 500? And with the good comes the bad. So I'm going to tell you risks to investing in the S&P 500. First of all, me. I am 12 years old. My name is Isabella Curiel, and I play soccer. And I feel very confident in my skills, so if any of you want a 1v1 after, I'd be happy to embarrass you. I like tennis as a hobby, and I like hanging out with my friends, but despite all this, spending time with my family is what I like most. However, I don't like investing. But if I don't like investing, how am I supposed to make passive income? Let me introduce you to the S&P 500. Okay, well, what is the S&P 500? The S&P 500 is like a basket of stocks such as Apple, Tesla, Amazon, and Microsoft. These big companies are 500 companies in the US. And many people follow the S&P 500 to see how the overall market is going. Bigger companies affect the S&P 500 more than smaller companies because they have a big impact, just like how my dad has a big impact on my family when I cook brownies.
Okay.
Why would you invest in the S&P 500? Well, investing in the S&P 500 is easy. You just put your money in there and go beat some dudes in soccer and come back and it probably will grow. And even Warren Buffett himself, the best investor in the whole world, said, and I quote, "In my view, for most people, the best thing to do is to own the S&P 500 index fund." Additionally, if you invested $1,000 in the S&P 500 on my birthday, 2013, April 7th, you would have about $4,750 June 30th, 2025. Here's the investment return. How should you invest in the S&P 500? First, you go to Robinhood.com, you create an account, and search any of the following and invest. Personally, I invest in SPY and VOO. I recommend those. My investments in the S&P 500 VOO.
This is it.
Okay. I got about 15% over the past 3 months.
And 1 year.
10% over the past 1 year.
Do you remember what Francisco's 1 year was?
Oh, I didn't say that.
8.
Wait, what is that?
So, just a different way.
Also, I recommend you put 50% of whatever you earn, or your income, into the S&P 500, so you can just sit back and watch it grow. For example, if you're like me and you earn $5 for picking up your dog's poop, then you invest $2.50 into the S&P 500. However, like I said earlier, with the good comes the bad. And so here are some risks of investing in the S&P 500. First of all, you only invest in US companies. The S&P 500 is tech heavy, which means there are big companies and they can go up and down. And it's not as exciting as what my brother would have done. It's just put it all in there, walk away. And also, it's not guaranteed. Although we've showed you success, success is not always guaranteed in the S&P 500. Thank you for listening. Any questions? Yeah.
How do you sell when you want to?
Have you sold?
No.
She hasn't sold.
I'm putting it for the long term.
There's an app that does it for you.
Yeah.
Do you have to wait for a certain period? Like, who buys it? How do you?
I think the app buys it for you and then it resells it later. Is that how it works?
So there's always a buyer, and it's within a day or two you can get your money out. So it's called liquidity. It's very highly liquid. So you got two views of the world, right? And let's 12:30, like we did. Let's take your questions and let's go deep on this. What would you like to ask about investing? Yes, sir. What's your name? Abraham.
How did the recent crash on the market affect you guys?
How did it affect you, Francisco?
I lost a little bit of money, but I was in a bear. I was against the market at that time, so I kind of made some money off of that.
Isabella, how did it affect you?
I don't really know because I don't look at my money. So, yeah.
Does it stress you out, knowing that? Do you have to look at it so often?
So one of the comments Francisco made is the emotional, right? Some people. So my firm advises probably 250 different families, and during that April time when the tariffs hit for the first time, people were freaking out, right? So when everything's going up, you say, oh yeah, let's buy more and more and more. But when things got really bad, people called and freaked out. They want to sell everything, and we for most of them we said we convinced them not to sell. But it is very scary for some people. That's why the risk tolerance, understanding that there's some months, some days that it'll just go down. And if you do an analysis of these S&P 500 or any other stocks, if you hold it for 10 years, your chances of losing money are almost zero. There's still always a chance to lose money, but in a given year, you might be up 50 and down 50%. So you put $100 and the next day you might see it at 75. And that's where you have to know yourself. If you think you're gonna freak out, don't look at it. If you don't, that's one way. That's what we tell people. Go ahead.
So with both of these, was it that Isabella had one where you can put your money in and you cannot withdraw from it until a certain point of you can sell it, or do they let you put in money and take it out whenever you want?
Whenever you want, for both of them. These are all things you can sell immediately and get out. Except Isabella was too busy doing 1v1s against, 2013 girls, and she was too busy to see it, so it didn't affect her that much. And Panchito was pretty busy too during April. There was another one, just.
How do you go against the market?
Panchito, how do you go against the market?
So there are, how there's funds? There's pretty much, what is it called? The put option, a call option?
Short.
Short.
Short funds.
No, but there's So it's like a short fund where somebody makes it and it's against whatever you're trying to go against.
You can buy something that will go up $1 or $2 every time the market goes down $1, $2.
And that's something you're gonna have to look out for.
You can if you want. I mean, if you want to buy that.
Yeah.
So, but it is, it's really risky. Really risky.
Like when do you know how to sell, like when to sell, like your shares?
Well, you have Isabella. How do you know when to sell?
When I'm not busy, I guess.
But you haven't sold, so you don't. So I think Isabella doesn't think about it, right? Francisco, when you were picking stocks, how do you know when to sell?
I mean, like, you would tell because of what's going on in like the world. There's after hours, pretty much, where the stock market doesn't do anything really. And during those hours, it's like, what's gonna happen? What happened during these times? Does it affect, like, you know how you said everybody hated Tesla? See, like, now, before that happened, there was like signs it was gonna happen, so I sold a little bit. So it's pretty much whatever's going on in the outside world.
And my philosophy is you don't know. It's really hard to know when to sell. I think my clients, they know when to sell when they need the money, right? So if they need the money in the next year or two, I tell him not to invest in the stock market because, let's just say you're trying to buy a house, you need the down payment for your house. Let's say you need $50,000, and if you put it in the stock market, and then a year later when you find your house, you're like, all right, I'm gonna go buy my house, but your 50,000 has become 25. Then you're like, oh, I'm gonna live somewhere else, right? Or not buy the house. So it's the time horizon, what Francisco said, how much time until you need the money is really the biggest driver of success. If you can just wait, even though you can take it out in 2 seconds, if you can just wait 10 years, then you are likely to make more money. If you need it right away, bonds are better, cash, savings. Yeah. Go ahead.
Where is this money coming from? Who's buying? I mean, who's like giving this out?
In terms of like, what do you mean?
I don't know, because like in this kind of investment, like I know it's from like different businesses. For example, like if you're invested in Tesla, like what is the relationship like with you as like just a stock owner and the actual business? Like what's
Yeah. So Tesla started, right, maybe 15 years ago, right? And they started as a private company. And a lot of these wineries, for example, are private, right? And so maybe let's just assume winery down the road is private, owned by a family. And then they get a bunch of clients and they say, you know what? We want to grow that winery beyond Napa and to France or whatever, right? So we're going to sell pieces of our company to outside investors. So they'll grab 50, let's just say you divide the company into 100 pieces. They take 50 of those pieces and sell them. And then they raise $50 million. They sell each piece for $1 million. And then they keep growing and growing, and then other people go, well, I want to buy some of that piece too. Now, your $1 million that maybe you bought, that piece, Jasmine wants to buy it for $1 million too. So now you make $200,000. The company doesn't get the money, but the people that own the pieces are trading it amongst themselves. Somebody wants Tesla because they're Republican. They hate Tesla because they're Democrats. So they come together and they trade it, right? The Democrat gets the money and the Republican gets the Tesla share. And then that's how the pieces work. That's kind of a simplistic way to think about it. So the money comes from the individuals that want to participate in ownership of a particular company when it comes to stocks.
So you're just like supporting the company, and whatever that company makes, they give.
Well, not necessarily, right? Because once the pieces are sold, the company doesn't get any more money, right? So I'm a vineyard, I sold my 50 pieces. So you're not supporting the company by buying and selling the pieces, because the pieces are owned already by the investor community. Now, the vineyard might be making a lot of money and be like, oh, we have extra money, so now we're going to give $1 or $100 to each of the piece owners. That's called a dividend. They make the extra profit that comes from the company. They get an upside on that as well. That's called a dividend, if that makes sense. So the owners of the pieces get both a potential dividend, part of the profit of the company, and the potential for appreciation. If somebody wants that piece, more than what you paid for, then you as the investor make money. And every day in the stock market, things are going up and down. So Panchito's not selling his Tesla stock, but it's going up and down because other people are saying, oh, I want it for $100. No, I want it for $105. No, I want it, I'm going to sell it for $95. So it's like a voting machine every single day, every single minute that the markets are open. Yeah.
I think this question's more for you, for your clients. Do you start them off with like Robinhood, or like what do you like advise?
So Robinhood is a really good app because it's easy to set up. And so for young people and they're starting out, we recommend it to them because today, if you open up an account, we can do this right after, you can buy $1 worth of Tesla. If whoever does it today, I'll give you $5 to invest in whatever you want.
I'll do it
Right now. If you want to do it today, I'll give you $5, each one of you, and you can invest it in whatever you want. You can bet at S&P 500, or you can follow Francisco's Tesla, EA, or some other stock. It's really easy to start, right? My clients, they use a company called Charles Schwab, so you've heard of them, and they have their accounts there. And then we get, as advisors, we get visibility into what they invest, and then we give them advice, and then also do the trades for them. And so we come up with our own sophisticated, portfolios and ideas, and then we advise them on taxes, we advise them on financial plans, estate planning, a bunch of any money issue that they have, we advise them on. But I think as a young person, and this is why I like Robinhood, I mean, you can invest like 50 cents, I think. I don't know what the amount is, like super small. And then you can also create, in the comment that I made earlier, consistency, that it automatically pulls from your checking account, showing up at the gym every day or every other day. So I like that feature, and the kids liked it. It's pretty gamified. I don't know, I think you have it. Somebody said they had it. You have it? Robinhood? You have it? Okay. So it's pretty legit. And it doesn't really matter if it's Charles Schwab or Robinhood. Think about it like there's just like a parking lot. You buy a car and you can take it to another parking lot, Charles Schwab or Robinhood parking lot, but you still own the car. If you own Tesla, you can take Tesla from here to there. And they're really the same, right? It's just that Robinhood has a cool app, but you can use Fidelity, you can use, what's the other one? I think, what is it? Webull. Yeah, so those don't matter, in my opinion. It's what kind of car you buy in the parking lot that matters. Yes?
You said you went to Harvard Business School.
Mm-hmm.
I was just wondering what you majored in, because I know there's like marketing, accounting, finance, data analysis. So I was just wondering.
Yeah, they don't have, at the master's level, they don't have specific majors, but I lean more towards finance and entrepreneurship. So, because it's very general. It's only 2 years. You get everything. I was an engineer, so I didn't know about the business world like that. So I really focused on learning accounting and finance, which is very hard as a non-business person to learn.
This may sound like a dumb question, but
No, there's no dumb questions.
so when you want to invest, for example, in the S&P 500, does this benefit you, Isabella, in any way, or is there any benefits?
What do you mean?
Like if I invest in it, would that benefit you?
Does it benefit you? No, Isabella doesn't get any money. So, can you describe what the S&P 500 is again?
It's like a basket of stocks of big companies.
And so you buy in the basket.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no benefit to us. We don't get any commission. But yeah, good question. That's a very good question.
Could you ever lose more than you put in?
Um,
You said you'd give like $5 to anyone. If I put the $5 into whatever stock and it continues to decrease, could I lose like more than $5?
No.
No. Okay.
you can go to zero. Unless you do a short fund like Francisco, then you can lose more. Because if you bet on, well, I don't want to explain that, but let's go ahead.
What aspects of like business and finance do you think has the most like job security with like AI and everything?
artificial intelligence is going to take your job as a knowledge worker. That's my opinion. So I think that it's very scary. It's not going to take Jose's job. He's a welder. But I think you better be, in my opinion, very aware of what are you going to bring to the table that AI can't do. And so I think, Jasmine, you're studying managerial economics at UC Davis. That's a good major, but a lot of the things that economics and managers do are going to be done by AI.
Because I've heard accounting has a lot of like job security.
Well, accounting, I think what's the emotional intelligence, I know it kind of sounded fluffy at the beginning, maybe to some of you, but that's a huge thing, man. Dealing with people, right? If you're an accountant, but all you know how to do is numbers, you're done. If you can understand the numbers and talk to people about the numbers, explain the numbers, make them feel good about the numbers, or calm their fears about the numbers, that piece, I think, is unlikely to be AI. So all majors, I think, have good job security if you can understand that there's some things that the AI won't do, like the human connection, the interaction, the maybe selling, maybe client management, maybe project managing, So I have a team. Part of them are in Mexico, and they're accountants. I have a team here. Some of them are advisors, some of them are project managers. And I am now thinking that I won't hire anybody anymore for support staff because AI is doing a lot of the stuff that we're doing, like putting together emails, doing analysis. But I do want to hire financial advisors that deal directly with clients because I think if you have $1 million, you're not going to trust a computer to just do it all. You want to talk to someone, say, April 4th, tariffs are going down, what do I do? They want to talk to someone. And that ability, I understand finance, I understand accounting, but the understanding, the empathy that they're going through because they see their $1 million go to 700,000 in 2 days. That's scary, right? So those kinds of skills, regardless of what you do, are important. And the welders and the plumbers, the construction workers, AI is coming for your job, but it's going to take a while.
You said that there is not really a way to lose more than what you put in, but you mentioned that there is. It's called a short fund.
Yeah, I wouldn't want. Remember, it's so simple. I wouldn't worry about the short funds. That's when you bet.
Could I act like, because I'm saying this because I don't want to accidentally get into that when I get into Robinhood. Is that like possible?
Start with the S&P 500, or start with a company you know and believe in. The short fund, it's hard. It's not possible to lose money in the short fund. If you short a stock, ChatGPT is your friend. Look up what happens when you short a stock, and then short a stock. That's when you make money when the stock goes down. And I've had people lose a lot of money in that. That's a very scary, sophisticated, complex thing that as a first-time investor you should not be doing, in our opinion.
I feel like, I don't know, I guess this is also a reason why I don't really get into investing is because there's terms like what you just said that I don't really understand. So should I know more about that before I get into investing?
Our opinion is you'll never know all the terms, you'll never know all the information. And you don't need to know all the information to invest, in our opinion. Just start small and start simple. Just pick a fund or pick a company that you like and start there. But I think the idea that, I've been in this business for 20 years and every day I learn something new. I don't know everything. And I'm really into it, right? I'm always studying the markets. But Isabella has outperformed a lot of my clients just by putting it in the S&P 500. So I think I wouldn't say, don't let that be the reason that you don't invest. Not knowing. Yes?
Would you say the aftermath of investing is complicated, like the taxes and?
The taxes can be complicated, but if you have an accountant and Robinhood provides you a form at the end, I think it's fine. It's doable. Yeah.
What's the difference between long-term investments and short-term investments, like the taxes wise?
If you hold a stock or any investment for less than a year, your taxes are higher on the gain than if you hold it for longer. And what I tell my clients is, ideally, you hold it for longer because it makes sense. Over 10 years, you're less likely to lose money. But if taxes come second. So if you need the money, you should get the money out. Don't worry about taxes, in my opinion. But you get charged more taxes if you hold it less than a year. But you still make money, right? Like, your goal is to send maybe the IRS a check for $1 million because that means you made $2 million or $3 million. So a lot of people, I don't know, your parents, right? My parents were always like scared to pay taxes or didn't want to pay taxes or didn't want to show the government that they had money because they wanted to get the free stuff, stuff like that, right? I think you get caught into that, and that's not good. If you're paying a lot in taxes, that's a good thing. That means you're making money, right? Because you only pay taxes on money that you earn. So
what's your opinion on a Roth IRA?
So a Roth IRA is a type of account that they'll never charge you taxes on. And
You can charge it at the start.
well, yeah, you put it with after-tax dollars, right? Like,
But they tax you on the money that you gain, no?
not a Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is a type of account that you'll never be taxed on. Well, according to current laws, right? So when I was younger, 25, I started Roth IRAs, and that's where I put some of my money in.
Because I heard if you can take the money out of the Roth IRA, but they don't tax you on the money that you put in, they only tax you on the money you gain.
Correct.
If you pull it out before you're 65 and a half, something like that.
59 and a half. So now we're getting into what kinds of accounts. The Robinhood, it's called a taxable brokerage account. It's just like an account. You can start it today. I'll give you $5 for it starts. And that's where you can start. But then there's retirement accounts and 401ks and Roth IRAs. And I know it's going to get confusing. But I wouldn't, you start with a basic one, which is a taxable account at Robinhood. And then you can expand to Roth and other stuff.
You wouldn't advise anybody to start on a Roth IRA. Like, let's say for me, I'm starting fresh out. Just go to my bank and say, hey, I want to put this amount. I want this minimal risk.
Well, the Roth IRA is just the bucket, right? Like, what you put inside the bucket, it could be S&P 500, it could be Tesla, it could be anything, right?
Yeah, that's why I got to there, because it's still technically investing, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can leave it in cash inside the bucket, but that's a different discussion, right? What kind of bucket you want to have? You have a 401k bucket, a Roth IRA bucket, a traditional IRA bucket, a regular taxable bucket. But so I think the simplest way to start is a taxable bucket, and start there, and then you can research. Okay, should I do a Roth? Should I do you need to have a job to do a Roth IRA. So, and after a certain amount of money, you can't contribute. So I would Roth IRAs are great because taxes in this country are going to go up, and so having money that will never be taxed is a good thing.
So you said that you told me to avoid the short fund and the short stock thing. You said invest in the S&P 500. Is that because it's so many different companies in one thing that it's harder to find yourself in that situation?
Exactly. So, the 500 largest companies in the United States are in this basket. So, I don't know, farm worker analogy, right? You're not betting on grapes. You have a basket of grapes, and you have an orchard of, peaches, and so if the grapes go down, you still got 499 other crops that could do well, and so you don't get burned by one company, right? Even though some of the companies like Amazon maybe never going to go away. There could be another company that goes downhill, but then you have 499 other ones that are doing well.
So it's the best one to start off with.
it's the easiest and best one to start. And there's other funds. We can talk about that, but yeah, go ahead.
Does your investment firm day trade at all?
No, we don't believe in that. But our clients, is their money, so they day trade. They can do whatever they want. But if they were ask us, our recommendation is to just stay long term, diversified. Day trading is fun, Panchito, right? But we don't think it's a good idea. And you're all gonna do it, especially the guys. So let's acknowledge that. Maybe half of your money in day trading, half of your money in something like stable or diversified, like an S&P 500 fund, would be advice that I would give you if you wanted to. Because you're gonna do it. I had a friend from high school. He had just started investing. I said, start with the S&P 500, and I called him up. He's like, no, I got these other ones, and I got crypto, I got Tesla, and it gets like gambling. That's fine. You gotta get your itch out, but maybe have two, right? Have the gambling one and have the stable one, because it's gonna happen. You're gonna get tempted, and that's fine. But realize that the S&P 500 type funds will, over the long term, tend to beat the day traders. In my analysis and my research, that's usually the case. Yes?
What would you say is the best way to learn more? Like books-wise or?
Play with real money. That's the best way to learn more. What's that?
The way my dad wanted me to learn investing is he loaned me money. He wanted me to lose it all. So that's one way.
And that didn't happen. But best way to learn is to do it. $5, put it on.
Well, no.
See what?
Paper trading where it's like fake. No.
I do. You can do fake, but I don't like that. I think you're not going to be really vested into it unless it's like hurting you or making you happy or both, right? So that's my opinion. And again, this is not financial advice because you're not my client, so I can't give you financial advice. We're just giving you our opinions. Yes?
Do you put any of your clients' money into CDs at all?
Yeah, CDs are good. Francisco showed the cash. So right now, a CD would probably give you like 3%. So rule of 72, when do you double your money? I'm going to let them answer. Who said it? 24 years? Yeah. So you get it, it's safe, guaranteed, so you're not going to lose it, but you don't get that much, 24 years. If you invest in a stock market, I think Isabella's return was 10%, I think, or something, right? So then you double your money in how many years? If she earns 10% a year. Who has the answer? 10% a year, rule of 72. Acuérdense. 72 divided by 10. 7.2 years. All right, so a CD, super safe. You double it over 24 years. Stock market, risky. You don't know what's going to happen. Potentially, maybe, possibly, it doubles every 7 years. Guaranteed, not guaranteed. So, that's the world of investing. If you want safety, you get less money. If you want more money, you have to take risk, possibly lose some of it. And the way to minimize the chance of loss is to leave it there as long as possible. Any other thoughts? You can set it up. I'll give you $5 right now. I got cash.
I'm setting it up right now.
All right. I can Venmo you.
Our next speaker's not here, so let's just, we'll give Martin and Isabel That's super great, guys. But let's just to check it out. Take this time. We'll wait for our Valley Family Centers isn't here yet. So take some time on your phone, ask some questions.
If you do wait, give me your Venmo, if you have Venmo, and we'll give you the Venmo.
Good. Yeah, Martin, do you read, this is a white board feature. Can you like show the rule of 72?
Sure. Sure.
What do you want us to buy? What do you want?
Anything you want. Anything you want.
We're gonna do a little takeout here of explaining what the rule of 72 is. Okay.
So you wanna? They're gonna record it. So just they're gonna record that. Or no, you wanna explain it, or you want Lisa Panchito? Okay, Panchito, explain it. So they do a take.
Do the writing and you could do the explaining, so you can look at the camera and stuff.
Okay. Wait, I'll put that here. So pretty much the rule of 72 is 72 first, and then you divide it by your average annual return, which we'll do 8 in this case. And then whatever that number comes out to, that's how many years it will take you to double your money, pretty much. It's a simple rule. It's accurate, but it's not like perfect. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple.
So we're not. Let me erase this. We're not recommending any stocks. We're not recommending any investments. But Isabella will write the symbols of the 2 investments that she buys. Ahí está.
It's asking for your social security.
Yeah. Or do you have one? Okay. So those are the 2 baskets. Alvaro.
What if you're like under 18?
Yeah. So I have the accounts under our names. So you'd have to get somebody that has, or there's other custodial accounts you can set up. So yeah, you have to be over 18. This is why I thought it would be a good idea. 18 or over.
Yeah. Like, you're talking kind of like bonds. I know you're talking about stocks and stuff. Like, what about bonds as well?
So bonds are safer than stocks because you're loaning money to the government or to a company. So if a company were to go down, they would pay their bond people first before they pay their investment people. So one of the bonds that I would recommend you look up is called BNB. It's it covers all the bonds that exist in the world and the U.S.
Is that on the Robinhood or is that like?
Yeah, everything on the Robinhood, Tesla, everything. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.